All right, new year, new me, as they say. It's January 16th. I know a lot of people probably already posted their New Year's post for the year, but I frankly didn't want to be doing that stuff the first couple weeks. So I just went in the right headspace. And now I'm feeling pretty good today. It's Friday, January 16th. I have some goals I want to kind of go over, but let me briefly kind of just reiterate what this is about. It's the Quiet Legacy. This is that's the name I'm calling it. It's kind of random. I don't post I don't have a consistent posting basis right now. I'll try to do it weekly, maybe every couple weeks as things come up. Obviously, I have things I want to gripe about. I'll talk about it. Not griping for griping's sake, but just things I want to kind of get off my chest that I'm seeing in the world that I'm in, or just kind of want to talk about. And this is really not for anybody else unless people find some kind of benefit from it. That's great, but I'm going to share it anyway. And if you find some benefit from it, great. A little bit about me. My name's Cameron. I finally decided what to call myself, which is interesting in the line of work that I am in, because I never really had a job title or description to describe where I am now in my career. For the past, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And for a majority of that, I was a sort of storyteller, filmmaker, editor, depending on the role, right? So it's all about creative sort of video and animation guy, right? I was like, man, I need something fancier than that, and that's kind of hard to, get people to latch onto because it's so nebulous. At least to me, it is. And it makes sense. Oh, he does video, but everybody does video these days. But not everybody, but you can edit on your phone and et cetera, et cetera. I was like, so how can I be taken a little bit more seriously? And also, I am stepping into a sort of a different role now in my sort of journey as a creative, as a person who helps people solve problems using things like story and video and production and things like that. And I have a job title now, which is good. I'm going to let you in on it here pretty shortly. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's media consultant. Sounds super fly, right? So essentially it's like, hey, how can I be, essentially like people come to me, especially in my industry, which is the political and advocacy space. Like they don't need a video guy. They need somebody to tell them what types of videos to make, where to put them, and how we can actually differentiate those folks or those groups to get people to pay attention. Anyway, I won't go into the weeds too much, but media and digital consultant, it's kind of what I'm going after right now. And it seems to be resonating with some folks. It's resonating with me a little bit more. I don't really like industry jargon too much, but hey, there we have it. So there's that. But yeah, that's the podcast. That's this. I don't know if you'll call it a podcast or just me recording something on video, getting out there, kind of regurgitating. But today I want to talk about new year, new me, new goals. And it's going to be rough and raw and authentic, bro, because like everything has to be authentic like rare steak. So yeah, it's just that word authentic. It really gets under my skin a little bit, because what is authenticity, right? I can go on, but the buzzword right now is like, like I saw, what's his name? The guy who does the head of Instagram. He's like, the videos that are really going to resonate, the content that's really going to resonate, are the things that are going to be real and raw and authentic. I was like, man, y'all been saying that since 2015. Like, yeah, phone videos perform better than cinematic cameras. We get it. Like, it's been that way for a long time. He's like, in the age of AI, it's going to be even more so important. I'm like, not really, because AI is still going to be able to mimic all that stuff. I digress. But being authentic, what does that even look like nowadays? Because even right now, like, yeah, this is unscripted, raw, authentic. Like, I'm still putting on some sort of persona in front of a camera, right? It's not my real, raw, authentic self. if you were to see my real, raw, authentic self, you'd be bored out of your mind. I mean, I do exciting things, but I just think. You know what I mean? I just like, I'm on a computer, I'm thinking all the time. That's my real, raw, authentic self. And then when I'm in front of my kids, I'm silly and I tickle, and you do all the things you do in front of your kids. That's a whole nother persona. If you're in front of your wife, that's a whole nother authentic version of yourself. Like, so what does that even mean to be that online? It's confusing. So I don't think authenticity is the right word. I think the right terminology would be novelty, because humans love novelty. And I don't mean like, yes, the hooks and the visual hooks and all that stuff is probably still important to some degree because it stops the scroll. But I think people are starting to get numb to even that, or not numb. They're becoming more aware of it and just getting exhausted from it. And so they're trying to get off of these platforms, these addicting platforms. But it's really just novelty. So how can you show the same thing that other people show, but show it in a different way, right? So it's novelty, which is like newness, right? Novelty, what's another word I liked? And taste. Novelty and taste. So it's a mixture of novelty, it's a mixture of taste. So I don't think real, raw, authentic has anything to do with it. It's just gonna be, where does your taste lie? Because my Instagram feed, I don't get on it much anymore, is this sort of like filmmaker vibe. Like, people are shooting really cool looking videos and doing cool things with effects and animation. That's my feed. My wife's feed, well, right now it's probably just a bunch of like political stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Like, their feed's different. It might just be cooking, people cooking and things like that. And like, how do you shoot that? Can you shoot that? And some of the people she follows shoot it in a really interesting and cinematic way. So I don't buy the whole camera cinematic thing. Like, I think as long as you keep it interesting, keep it moving, that's, yeah, the word authentic. I just think gurus are telling you this just so they can sell you whatever they're trying to sell you. And it just happens to be like, oh, it's easy because all you have to do is be authentic and hold your camera in front of your face, and you'll be banking on social media and people will just love you. Anyway, I digress. So, New Year's goals. I have some New Year's goals, and I kind of wanted to record this so I can look back on it in a year. I have this piece of paper here. I can look back on it in a year. I actually have a phone call here in a little bit. I gotta make sure I get this recorded just in time. Yeah, I got about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. So I want to look back on this in a year and be like, hey, what did I do right? What did I adjust along the way? Maybe even revisit it in the next quarter, see what's going on. So right now, my word of the year is no. The word no, N-O. Like, last year, I said yes to some things that I should not have said yes to. Either they were things that I didn't really vibe with, but I felt like I had to do it because the person was my friend, or maybe I felt like I could get something out of it down the road, or whatever. Like, it just kind of depends, right? And it put me in situations where I wasn't having very much fun. I wasn't getting the results I wanted to get for the person, or whatever. And it's just, so there was that. And there's also some things I did that were kind of underpaid because I figured, oh, this is either a newer client or this is a newer offering, so I'm going to only charge this much. So in other things like favors, hey, could you go and do this for me? No, I'm not going to do that unless you're going to pay me my fair fee, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just going to be no. So I think my default to most things this year will be no right off the bat. And then we'll go from there, right? So it's really just to create space for what matters, be charged what I'm worth, is to build some self-confidence in myself, right? And this year is also an on year, so I'm going to be an on year for my industry, so I'm going to be busier than normal, so I can't say yes to everything. But that's regardless. I'm putting boundaries in place and a threshold to certain things, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So for the business, my goals are to position myself as this media consultant and creative director for my industry, which I am doing so. Went to my first local meetup last night. People resonated with the words I was saying. I'm going to have some minimum thresholds. So for King's Collab, which is my studio, any new client coming in, I am enforcing a minimum, what do you call it? Not minimum viable product. It's minimum level of engagement. So like, hey, if you're going to work with me, you have to at least spend $20,000 with me throughout the year. I might even go higher with that, but right now it's 20,000. That's kind of what I feel comfortable with. And most of those people that come in, they do that over the course of a couple of projects. So my minimum threshold for that is going to be $20,000. And I'm also trying to position myself to get closer to bigger organizations, independent organizations, nonprofits, advocacy groups that need ongoing creative support, ongoing media consultation, that sort of thing. So there's that. And also I am launching another business right now. It's more of a side project. I'm not stressing about it. I'm not going gung-ho with it, but it's just going to be a word of mouth thing. And right now I'm calling it Homegrown Films. And essentially what it's going to be is, right. So we have an older generation of an older population who's, people are dying off every day, right? So you have your grandparents, your great-grandparents, parents, they're passing away, they're getting older. They might want to just seal their legacy and, just essentially it's like just creating videos for people who want to make videos of themselves, passing on wisdom, stories, things like that, capturing these moments, capturing these stories, capturing this wisdom, capturing the people, right, in these families, so they can have a little keepsake or not a little, but have a cinematic story of themselves, of their life, of a story, of whatever. I'm still working on the details of that. There are other people doing it in bigger markets than I am. I'm like a small to medium-sized town, but I think there's a market here for it. And I'm having different tiers that I'm playing with. But right now, it's just kind of word of mouth, something that I feel is important and is needed. Something I desire to do for myself and my family. So I assume like, well, maybe other people want it too. And I get to kind of play around with telling stories and meeting new people and stuff, which I really enjoy. And so, I have a minimum threshold for that. So financially, I want to earn 300K this year. My stretch goal is 500K. But 300K is sort of the thing. I made almost that much in 2024. This year, I did not. It was just an off year, so things are low, usually low in this year. So you're lucky if you break. They say in our business, you're lucky if you break even on the off years. I broke even, so maybe a little bit more than even, but still. Plan on, we built onto our house last year. I want to pay off majority of that. I need to do a budget. I do budgets and I get terrible about them and I do them. So I'm going to stick with it all this year. That's kind of my goal, and to save up for the off year so I have enough money cushion for the off year. Car passing by. Spiritual. I do read my Bible in the morning and I pray and all that good stuff. But the main thing is starting to do more with my own children. I haven't been good with that. I didn't have that modeled for me growing up with my parents because they weren't they weren't spiritual at all. So how do I start modeling that a little bit more for them? I mean, we go to church and stuff, but how do we maybe do something as a family? So whether that's devotional or weekly devotional or semi-weekly or something like that. Also, my son, he's turning 13 this year. I would love to have a coming of age sort of thing with him, something that he can just memorize and put a stamp on saying, hey, boom, this is the year that I start coming into, adulthood, not adulthood, but manhood, right? And sort of sealing that up for him a little bit. Let's see. On that topic, I do want to make this year less about work and more about just enjoying life and not stressing. Work is important, but I'm trying to get it to be sort of secondary in my life, right? I want to, obviously we need to feed our families. We need to do the things we need to do. But beyond that, why stress? If I like the 300K thing, that's just a goal. But if I don't make it because it's going to stress me out, then that's okay, right? Like as long as I can, feed my family and pay the bills, like just be okay with that. And I'm convincing myself of that now because, we live in this world where we feel like we got to build and build and build and build and build to what goal other than just building and saying that you built it. And then once you get to that certain mark, all you do is you get, cost of living inflation, right? You start making $500,000 a year. You start living like you make $500,000 a year, and before you know, you don't have anything in the bank. So my goal, actually, 10 years from now, I've had this thought before, is like if I can do what I'm doing right now for the next 10 years, by the time I'm 50, 55, I'll be 52 in 10 years. I'll be able to retire. Like I can just quit and not have to worry about it, right? That's kind of the goal. And at the pace I am working right now, it can happen if I wanted it to. So yeah, really just focusing on moments of having more fun, more memories, because I feel like life just passes you by so fast. And my kids are already getting older, and I'm just like, where does all this time go? And again, it goes back to the novelty thing. If I can do more novel type things with my family, that'll be a win. So every couple months, we're going to do something, either travel or go do something here in town that just kind of is like, oh, that was really fun. Like I would love to mountain bike more. I don't have a mountain bike. I do have one, but it's not very good. But like there's some mountain biking trails in town that I've always wanted to do, but I just haven't got. It's not that I hadn't had the time. I just hadn't had the push to do it or the drive to do it. But now I do. I'm like, that sounds like fun. Let me do that. And I have this used bike that you might can see behind me. I don't know, that I bought, which would be good. I mean, I'm not like a mountain biker, but it'll go for a weekend. Yeah. Anyway, stuff like that. I still haven't mapped that out yet, but just trying to make some non-negotiables with myself and with my family. Like, hey, we need to go do this, go have some fun, and not worry about work all the time. So health-wise, I work out all the time, 4, 5, 6 days a week, depending on what's going on. And really just fine-tuning that a little bit here and there. One thing I discovered last year was that I was actually not eating enough, and it was causing, I gained 10 pounds between October and December last year. Not gained 10 pounds of fat. It was all like water weight and muscle, because I weigh 190 now, and I look thinner and better than I did when I weighed 175 without doing all the things I was doing, because I wasn't feeding myself properly. I wasn't eating enough, and so my body was always in a scarcity state. So I was wondering, and once I started eating more, eating appropriately for what I needed, I started having more energy, and that was the main thing, having more energy. And while the number was going up on the scale, everything else was getting better too. So I discovered that my baseline caloric intake was what I was eating below my baseline. I needed just this many calories just to function, which is crazy. Anyway, you live and learn, right? One other thing I want to do is, I don't know if you can see up here, I have this planner here. See these green check marks? That's for, those are days that I'm not buying anything. So I'm really starting to slim down on just consumerism in general, always wanting to buy things. So if I put a little X here, even digital things like tools and stuff like that, I can get addicted to doing that stuff. And it just adds up, $5 here, $10 here, it adds up over time. And so I'm trying not to do that this year because I have all that I need. Another thing is to, if you see the black ones, that is to get rid of things. So I'm trying to just declutter. One thing a day for the next year. Like, can I get rid of one thing that is just built up? It's a mess in here right now. But if I can get rid of one thing that I don't need anymore, that I haven't used, just get rid of it. Like, we don't really have that much stuff in general, but like, even the stuff we do have, it gets cluttered in my mind and creates this sort of back of the mind anxiety, and I have to get rid of that stuff. So digital and physical declutter. I'm simplifying my tech tool stack. Tech tool stack. Yes. So getting rid of a bunch of subscriptions I don't need anymore. If it's a plugin, I'm only going to need it. If I only need it for like a certain job, I'll just buy it for 1 month instead of a whole year. Like, some of this stuff I don't need all the time. So what's the point of dropping $200 or $300 on a set of plugins when all I need it for, like, when I can just pay you like $30 for that project, and then not have to use it again for another year. It just kind of depends on the project, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, so really, like, just asking myself, is this actually bringing me value? Is this thing, digital or physical, bringing me value? Is it making me money or making my life easier? Or is it just making me think that? And really just asking that question, right? And you come to find out there was a lot of stuff I just felt like it was going to bring value, but I actually don't end up using it that much. Let's say one, for instance, was, what was it I just canceled? Yeah, I can't remember. But like, I use the free version of Notion. That's all I really need. Yeah, just stuff like that, you know. What else do we have here? Oh, some personal development stuff. I need to work on my handwriting. So one thing I'm going to do is actually write hand letters to clients, friends. I need to get on that. I haven't done that yet, but hopefully like 1 or 2 at the end of the month, maybe more. I got to figure that part out. I do it on my journal, but I'd love to like send it out to people. I want to become a master of my own storytelling. So I'm doing stuff like this, starting to write more case studies, and just figure out things to be a better storyteller all around. Read more books. Yeah. And just, you know, there are other things in my life, like document. I haven't been very good about, you know, documenting my own stories, documenting case studies, documenting the work that I've done. I'm pretty bad about, I don't know if you call it marketing, but just bragging about myself. So I want to do that more, update the website a little bit more. I already have one case study in the bag. I just need to stick it. Oh gosh, I just need to stick it on my website and then share with people. That's it. So yeah, that's all I got. Hope there's some little tasty tidbits in there, but I think next up I might have to do a whole entire talk about authenticity and what I think we really need to do in the world of, it's just something that's kind of been on my mind lately. It was just, it's been on my mind a lot lately. And another goal this year is just to totally be independent of anything that scrolls, anything that takes my attention away. Like, I'll still have them, but I just need to treat them differently, as mainly just like, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's my portfolio. Here's just to kind of like, if people ever look me up, they'll see that I have some stuff there and that I'm not a ghost, but I'll still be a ghost. I'm not going to get on and scroll. I still have my days where I'm like, if I'm trying to just escape from other issues or problems I'm having in my life, not problems, but, you know, manufactured problems or otherwise, just stressors. You know, you want to go to that drug. You want to go to that place where you feel like you're comforted or you feel like you can zone out. Sometimes social media can be that for me. And so I need to find a better way. Maybe people just need to start picking up drinking again. All this dry January and all these people who are quitting alcohol. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, by the way. I don't condone that at all. Scrolling is a little bit healthier habit, but it's still the same sort of connection, right? The same sort of escapism mechanism in your brain to get away from reality, to make reality a little less harsh. Anyway, I got a phone call with a potential client. Oh, wait. Nah, we didn't know that. Oh, I gotta go. So if you need anything, let me know, hit me up. I'll have my email share with you, and all that stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Raw, authentic, baby.